for proper investments as a scenario, I would say that Bitcoin is here to stay. Okay. And every time there's a crash in a normal market, you will definitely see Bitcoin going up. And that entire piece is proof itself that Bitcoin is actually doing what it was
I
intended to
feel
do.
like
You know,
Bitcoin has got lots and lots of attention of the retail investors. Still, institutional investors are not betting enough on Bitcoin. And for a stable market, there has to be a balance between institutional investors and retail
Also,
investors.
writing the whole smart contract with like lesser vulnerabilities is like possible with GPT-4. Like with AI, we can like solve this problem, the security problem, and we are like we are trying to solve it with the AI
point
itself.
is there is a great deal of disparity between what the current market as a non-tech, non-understandable investor that actually wants and what the utility and output that we as a community are offering to them. It's like the VCs understand you, the couple of nitpick people understand you, but not everybody from a product and a generalized perspective does. And this
Die like either you leave crypto or live long enough to become a Bitcoin maxi, and I love this because I think that's the journey of someone who is in crypto.
So from my side, basically, I come from like an open source researcher background. Then slowly I moved into uh, like corporate product building, where I was building products for blockchain for Fortune 500 companies. From there, I stepped into full scale blockchain like building, and I always had a fascination with products. So from there, I started building products for other companies. My first product, which I built full scale, was for an American company called First American. From there, we actually moved on. I started a few startups, didn't work out. From there, I moved to Singapore because India was becoming too restrictive as a hub for crypto at that time, and this goes back, I think, around 2017. Okay, and Singapore was one of the upcoming hubs. There also, I moved in like revelation of a startup. My co-founder was there, so that also actually didn't work out. And then I took a job where I was building crypto products for DeFi. That was my actual first interaction with DeFi. After building blockchain networks, exchanges, and other systems across for Singapore-based clients and Hong Kong-based clients, I used to do a lot of consulting gigs. From there, I moved on and started my own company, which is Edufied, which I'm currently working. And Edified I've been running the company from ground up till now for last 4 years around. Okay. And has been crazy experience. We have raised rounds. Our product is live. It's live in 3 countries for now. We have paying clients in all three. We are trying to expand to 2 more countries this year. We have raised one seed round only, and we are mostly kind of revenue strapped. This being the professional side of experience, there's a ton of community aspect that I do. Community aspect side, I think the first thing, my community aspect started with way back when I was in blockchain in Bangalore itself. And we started there. I hosted a startup weekend with a couple of friends at Bangalore, and we had like 100 plus people coming in, everybody who was like interested about blockchain, but not everybody knew. Okay. Other than that, I used to take a lot of public sessions, trainings, hands-ons, dev workshops inside and outside the companies I was in. So I think I have trained like 800 people at a time. So that time I actually started another piece which I brought from US. So I was connected with some of my friends in US, and they have something called as BEN, which stands for Blockchain Education Network. It's a US registered nonprofit. Okay, and what it was basically, it was like Bitcoin talk more on like a structured level. Okay, and that was the intent that we want to do. And again, it was an information assimilation organization, so there was no, as a registered nonprofit, there was no, how to say, any outcomes that was expected other than collaboration between multiple people across the globe. So that was the intention. And yeah, it happened good, but all of the community-based events that I used to do, I actually started a couple of crypto groups based out of Bangalore and Delhi as well before I moved to
Mm-hmm.
Singapore. And after moving to Singapore, I traveled to Hong Kong, Dubai, and Singapore, all these three hubs being connected with tons and tons of people. I also do consulting for some companies, depending on how the ratio matches up with, energy for me helping them out or how much help they need. And mostly, most of the things
Mm-hmm.
comes around consulting on tech side first, and sometimes community and marketing. But yeah, that's basically me. But for now, yeah, running my own company, doing things across.
Mm-hmm. That's really a great journey, I would say. So, how about your investment journey? Like, have you been investing in crypto and let it be
Earlier,
in
not.
any tokens? Yeah.
Yeah, my there's a fascinating story behind this. So when I was
Mm-hmm.
actually in college and I used to do some freelancing work there, I actually had bitcoins that I got. Okay, and once I graduated out of college, I just sold those bitcoins to buy a dumb laptop. But now the laptop is gone, but the bitcoins are like crazy. But this goes back like 2012, 13. We don't know how
Mm-hmm.
time will evolve. Nobody can predict that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
actually, till the time I didn't have successful ventures, I didn't really start investing at all. Okay, I still do not have a large sum of investment anywhere in crypto. Reason to accommodate into it is obviously it's like me as a tech person, I get biased if I start investing, and this has happened a few times. It's like there was a
Mm-hmm.
time when I was investing in one project, and technologically, after evaluation and using the project, I was sure that the other project that I'm evaluating is actually a better project. But at the end of the day, the project I invested in, I was being biased towards it. Okay, so technically, I stopped doing that. I just rolled off my positions and left it off. And I
Mm-hmm.
recently started investing when it was like post COVID. Like COVID, almost wave two was gone. Then only I started investing small sums. That too mostly as a hedge and a bit, but not really. I will not consider as like a direct investor as in coins and tokens, but I do invest
Mm-hmm.
directly in friend companies and like the people I directly physically know and who are doing stuff in blockchain. I do invest.
That's really nice. Like, I would say, you have got your niche and you are pushing towards the product end, right, rather than going to the
Yes,
investment side.
yes.
So, what's your thought about Bitcoin? Like,
I would say with the last week crash of entire SPB fiasco, I think it's
mm-hmm.
very obvious with gold, silver, and Bitcoin pushing up like 20-30% across the globe.
Mm-hmm.
Gold is also rising really hard. And if you see if you talk about proper investments as a scenario, I would say that Bitcoin is here to stay. Okay. And every
Mm-hmm.
time there's a crash in a normal market, you will definitely see Bitcoin going up. And that entire piece is proof itself that Bitcoin is actually doing what it was intended to do, being a
Mm-hmm.
hedge against the traditional markets. And that's intentional so that, everything works in accordance to how things are. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I would say,
Yeah.
yeah, Bitcoin is just doing what it is actually supposed to do. And I would say for somebody who was 15 years ago as a planner, is a crazy visionary idea, which I think Bitcoin definitely like surpasses all of the levels it could possibly have thought. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like Satoshi has seen the future, like what's gonna happen, and hit
Exactly,
at the right
exactly.
time, right? And
Yeah.
So still, I feel like Bitcoin has got lots and lots of attention of the retail investors. Still, institutional investors are not betting enough on Bitcoin. And for a stable market, there has to be a balance between institutional investors and retail investors. So that balance still need attention of the institutional investors. So,
Mhm.
what do you feel like? That's my question to everyone. Like, what you guys feel like? How exactly can we get attention of the institutional investors as well?
I
Yeah.
think that's gonna start from the trust. I mean, if you see this FTX this fiasco that recently happened, I was talking to some of the friends, and what's happening is some of the countries that were really bullish on this whole thing, they were like, I don't know if that's the right time to get in the Bitcoin, and they are still getting again in understanding and more in the research part. The way I see it is, this funnel. They were already like they were making a choice to get in the thing, and now they are again back to getting the information about and all that stuff. But again, it's something. And another thing, the way I see it is, because there are a lot of different conflicting interests and polarity growing up in the entire world. And what happens in this whole scenario is, it's very normal that a parallel way of method of transactions start developing, and that we have seen like in all times of chaos we see it. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. For example, if Russia wants something, then US wants something else, like in the macro picture of like in the big game. So I think this is the time where uh, people with a lot of money they have already started looking for the store of value. And I think this is exactly where we are going, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But the
Adding on to
FTX
that,
fiasco, yeah,
yeah.
but the FTX fiasco and the Luna tragedy, the both of them,
Luna,
both
of course.
big, yeah. So a lot of big institutional investors were invested in them, and that's
Yep.
where they were trying to
One
get
of the
into
reasons.
this blockchain.
Correct. One of the
And
reasons that these two were so big was exactly because of institutional investors. Because at the end,
Yeah.
I don't know how long you guys have been in Bitcoin and blockchain in general, but I've been here for a very long time. And the ideal scenario I'll say is institutional investors are always head-based investors. Okay. This can be even come from any big person. Every action that a fund manager or a company takes, there needs to be a fact and a base of somebody backing something. Okay. Again, for example, if you want to go towards the recent events that are happening, okay, that can be anything from Credit Suisse to other banks going around or SVB or anything. Everything had a backing in place. But people forget that Bitcoin was not built for institutional investors. Yeah, that's a correct approach that till the time the institutional money doesn't flows in, okay, will not see a crazy growth like everybody is intending to do. But again, if you go by the analogy of how everything is designed in a blockchain as a fund, okay, and I'm not saying that institutional money should not come in, okay, but when they come in, they should not have the same expectations of what they are having with the traditional stock market, for example. Okay, nobody buys gold today saying that it will increase 12% a year. That's not the expectation of why people buy any hedged based asset. Okay, on the other side, I think crypto was built not towards hedging. I think it's built more towards usage based. Okay. And till the time we don't see more usage based regulation and laws, I think it will be difficult for any investor, institutional investor to come in big time, betting big time. Because till the time, it's again the usage of the company. The reason stock market works so well is because whichever company is on there is regularly publishing their own growth, their own metrics, their own shares, their own numbers. That okay, this is the company that be it Apple, Google, or any of the company listed in any country in the world. They are actually giving very good feedback. Okay, this is how my company is doing. This was the profit I made last quarter. This is the profit I made this quarter. Okay, there is no advocacy for somebody in blockchain world, especially for Bitcoin. Okay, there are Bitcoin advocates who are doing it now. Some are doing purely in terms of money because they have a huge chunk invested in Bitcoin. Another, there are people who are doing for the technology and the openness. Okay, and the third, people who are like who we call as crazy people who think the world will and Bitcoin and gold are the only saviors. They are the ones who are going to think about. Okay, and again, I think I'm not sure if you guys have been to a lot of events or not, but I go to a lot of events, and I generally can distinguish people in first of the three categories, and the fourth person to categorize is technology people. These are the people who just care about the tech being awesome. Okay. These are the guys who love technology in general, and blockchain being a very good technology. For example, we are having an AI wave at this junction with GPT coming in and everything going on. We had a same wave of blockchain way back in like 17, 18, 19, just after the ICO, everything just, went back. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And adding on to that, right? So as of the institutional investors and retail investors are concerned, I feel I have seen some stats. It's like 17% of the Bitcoins are held by retail investors, right? And that's really a very small number, and that can be one of the reasons of the volatility and all the stuff that's happening. But what I feel after all these bank crash and all, it's not just FVB, but it's like the other day I had seen some news like it's nearly 168 banks that's actually are in the same trap, right? So it's not only the banks, but it's the whole ecosystem, right? Of the banking ecosystem that's getting crashed. So now it's all about not buying Bitcoin, but not having cash, right? So what all alternative we are having? So that's the thing. I feel like a lot of people will be getting into it, and obviously the retail market should be more than 50% what I see like to have Bitcoin as a to see Bitcoin as a greater value proposition, right, rather than cash. So, what are all the things that we are seeing as a crypto investor? You have actually invested. Most of the crypto people who are in this ecosystem from, let's say, 4 to 5 years have a thought of like, hey, why don't I invest in tokens? I can get some quick money. So, rather than having a quick money, there is a lot of dump that are getting faced, right? It's not just money. People are losing more money as well, right? Someone is winning and someone is losing. So that's what you say. Like all the token. What about the token launches? And you have seen the IDOs coming in. You have seen the IOs coming in, right? What is your perspective around the token launches, and what can be done better?
I feel that sorry for taking on the stage. I
Yeah.
so I feel that I mean we have seen that yeah, even IPOs can also be unsuccessful and there can be a big dump as well over there.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, everything boils down to how good your project is and utility revolves around it. If you are a
Mm-hmm.
crypto is a digital money and it should revolve around what exactly is the utility, digital utility of that particular asset. If the
Mm-hmm.
asset has got a good digital utility, definitely it will last long. But there are always, I feel also there is one such case that yeah, we do not have enough auditing agencies, big institutional auditing agencies, or even general auditing agencies who are experienced enough to come into our Web3 industry. And because of which there are certain aspects like smart contracts are getting vulnerable. And not only that, uh, the tokens distributions, it's all up to the founder, how well they distribute it. If there was certainly right auditing agency, right, who will be periodically monitoring how exactly that crypto tokens are getting distributed and all, definitely there would be a balance, there is, because ultimately wherever there is a greed, people they fall into that trap. So that's
Mm-hmm.
really a bad thing. To that what we have seen, and whichever the dump happened, most of the time the dump was because either the VCs they were dumping all at once, or to on the retail investors, or the founders themselves were dumping a big chunk of their crypto tokens for their own gains. So which is not good for the future of the crypto ecosystem.
But there is just one thing. So I know this is like a different way of looking, but how do you see, I mean, this current market that we are in right now? I mean, what do you guys think? Don't you think there is still, we need to find more use cases for it? Because a lot of people right now, what I feel is there is a lot of supply for all these products that people might not be interested to use. And when that
Mm-hmm.
happens, what happens is we get a lot of um it's like inflated, like that's a bubble literally. That's what bubble is, right? And then we still do not, I mean, as an industry, what we are not able to do right now is as founders and entrepreneurs and frontiers of this this industry, like thousands of people like us, what we are not able to do is, I think, still not able to create enough uh utility that people are able to actually consume. And I think this is where the next thing, where it is going, right? Because this is what what's gonna push the real uses, as Pranav was mentioning, like utility based. But of course, you were talking about Bitcoin, and I think Bitcoin I mean, I was listening, I was reading this quote on Twitter from uh, Pareen from Builders Tribe, and he was saying, uh, live live die, like either you leave crypto or live long enough to become a Bitcoin maxi. And I love this, because I think I think that's the journey of someone who is in crypto. So I think Bitcoin is there, but again, as an industry, I think it's very important for all of us to bring more utility based products, because that's what's gonna bring the real value. Yeah.
Just to add to what Himanshu said, again, as I said, I've been building products for a very long time. And there has been a journey this industry has taken. Okay. And there are so many external factors that have actually influenced this entire journey of how the entire blockchain and crypto in general has evolved. Okay. I think one of the reasons last 3 years have been phenomenal with the growth is because of DeFi. Okay. But we'll touch DeFi in general. But one of the things that has happened from a utility standpoint is there is a great deal of disparity between what the current market as a non-tech, non-understandable investor that actually wants, and what the utility and output that we as a community are offering to them. There is a huge gap in this. Okay. And
that's right.
I actually, a couple of my startups that earlier failed was because of this exact reason. Okay. It's like the VCs understand you, the couple of nitpick people understand you, but not everybody from a product and a generalized perspective does. And this is what I address in my current startup. So that's why I never call my startup as a Web 3.0. I call it as a Web 2.5. Okay, what this technically means is we have a set of technology that belongs to the Web 3.0. Okay, and instead of just running as fast as possible with the most latest and cool tech, building the best utility possible from that tech, what we did is we said, hey, technology, hold on. Okay, let me see what the market actually needs for that utility. And I'll pick those things that it needs, and I'll use the Web3 technology as a base to create that utility and outputs as products, and then sell those products back to this Web 2.0 people. Say, hey, you know what? I have this cool technology that does X, Y, and Z. And this is the utility and the importance you can drive out of it, which is something you can never get from Web 2.0 technologies. And these are the benefits. And these are the ways how you can connect with both Web 2.0 systems and Web 3.0 systems. Okay, because understand, for example, if you go, one of the big things that I tell to a lot of people who ever ask me for advice in terms of, hey, you know what, I'm building this cool idea, how do you validate it? The biggest thing that I have seen as a difference in a Web3 perspective is everybody understands that UX, but I would say there is a larger problem here of how the transactional payment is supposed to happen. Okay. Even I think a lot of people would actually love to pay in multiple currencies, okay, or stable coins using a crypto network, but they don't even understand how the base fees works. Okay. And for example, if I'm using Ethereum and I'm paying in USDC, again, just a random example here, I will need Ethereum in my wallet to pay that. Okay. And this concept of why we need Ethereum to pay USDC is not understandable by someone who doesn't even understand blockchain. We as tech people and community people, we can probably understand and how everything works. But there is a very difference of understanding of concepts. This knowledge transfer needs to go back to the retail investors. And yes, in last few years, this has definitely gotten better. Okay. Again, if you compare it from 5 years ago, it's better. But it's not till a level where the evolution has come to a place where we say, okay, this is how you use it. That's it. We should not be needing to explain how it works. For example, one of the best examples that I have heard in my journey as an entrepreneur is Visa and MasterCard. Okay, when Visa and MasterCards were actually introduced to a new country, again, me coming back from India, I was very young that time. We had cards, but they were very expensive. Okay, so when generalized population got cards, you will see the easiest form they said, you have this, you take this to them, you give them a pin, and the money is deducted. That's it. Okay, there's a physical device, there is a memory, non-written something that you keep in your head, and that's basically it. You don't need any other thing of knowledge of what is happening behind and how it's working to actually use it. And I honestly feel there is still a long way to go for us, but we are definitely coming there step by step. Okay, if you see the cards today, something like Revolut, or we had 10x in the past, there were multiple card agencies who did this, but their route was not very correct because, and they were doing all these hacks and patches in between as banded solutions because the government and the market is also not ready as regulations in terms of making something that actual people can use. Okay, recently we had CDBC is launching. Okay, e-rupee is already up. I'm not sure if you guys have used. I already have a wallet from the government. Okay, my bank supported it. I signed up on a crazy list, and they took tons of information as feedback as well. But what I would like to say is, yes, it's going good. Okay, if you guys have used, if you guys have wallets, do send me. I like to transact and see how things work. But it's almost as instantaneous as UPI in India or PayNow in Singapore. It's literally that fast. Okay, and again, although our data and base is not public, you need to be on a whitelisted equipment to actually get it right now. But I'm pretty sure once this testing phase is over, the barrier to entry to a normal consumer will be very, very, very low. Okay, and I think this is one of the big things that's needed to kind of remove this pump and dump and loss. Okay, coming back to what Himanshu said, yes, I think there are a lot of dumps. There are, as Aditya mentioned, there are a lot of people who don't know how things is done. Okay, this I think is another problem that this community faces. We are a community of youngsters. Okay, even though we like it or not, we don't come off years and years of industrial experience that other domains have. For example, you will never see a 10-year-old doctor having his own hospital. It's very rare. Okay, but you will definitely see a 1-year-old software developer having a ERC20 token. It's very easy. Okay, the barrier to entry is very across. Okay, and what this does is this opens to manipulation on all fronts. Okay, even again, that developer can be fraud in some ways, or he can get VCs who are fraud in some ways, or he can be associated with some market maker who's actually bad. Again, market making is not a bad thing, but in today's crypto world, it has kind of become like that. A lot of people say if you are doing market making, there's a very solid chance after that market making stops, you'll not be able to make it work. Okay, again, I have seen this way back from ICO craze, even before that. All these stuff has always been available, but it's not always very straightforward. Okay, this is supposed to be done because there is no clear kit book. And honestly, our community doesn't have that regulations as well to stop the malintended purposes in terms of how it should be done. So I think till the time we don't have regulations, this dumps, crashes, and fraud will definitely continue. And I think government has definitely taken interest, but I think it still is a long way to go towards standardization. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, human will always be the weakest chain of any security.
Absolutely.
So weakest node of any security chain, right?
And so blockchain is technically built on humans as people knowing everything what they are doing, which is like not ELI 5, right? So yeah.
Yeah, true. And I think another thing is the way I have seen, like I was advising a few companies. I have been in marketing and psychology of how products work and in this game. And I think one of the things that we miss out as oops, I think are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, so I think my AirPod died. So yeah, what I was saying is, I think the one thing that we forget is technology is just a tool to solve problems. And I think this comes after experience. And as Pranav was mentioning, that's exactly what we learn after a while. Like I mean, age, yes, age is definitely a number, and also the experience of working on something for long enough to understand and really understand the human side of it. Because eventually any growth is going to happen from solving the problem. And what we forget is we have this cool tech, and we will create it because it looks nice, and we have a nice landing page, and we have created a bunch of JPEGs there. That's not how business works. And someday everybody learns it. It's just every other generation comes, they think, okay, our ancestors were just lame and they were doing all this crap, and we are amazing. Then we grow older, and then we see all these youngsters doing the same shit, and that's exactly what's happened, and that's the pattern. And knowing that technology is just there to solve problems, it makes life so much easier. And honestly, it saves a lot of anxiety to know that, okay, you are there to solve problems and not just run behind another new cool shit. So yeah.
In fact, even yesterday, I was having a chat with one of the investors in an event, and I cracked up with laughter when he said, I recently heard about a project in Metaverse, and they were selling lands in Metaverse. He asked me, what will I do with that land?
So,
Well, I think
actually,
land in metaverse is
This
gonna be
is
useful though.
this is exactly what I said about knowledge transfer. Okay, it's
yeah.
like
Mhm.
you have something with you, but you don't know why it is there and what to do with it. You will definitely not be able to put a correct price to it.
Yeah.
Okay? In terms of even work scope or cost, this is not possible. And this is where I say that knowledge transfer still is not there. And if you are
Mhm.
saying, Aditya, if that was an investor, that makes it slightly not okay, because technically investors are supposed to know where they are putting their money into,
Yeah,
and if they
that's
are
right.
having
He
that land
was
already bought.
he was a Web2 investor, and kind of
Okay, it makes sense.
trying to understand the Web3 and all. So he
Got
met
it.
me, and then he asked me the very first thing, that a project he was kind of exploring, and then this whole thing happened. So it
Yeah.
was good that I was able to explain it to him why this all digital world matters and how it is impactful and everything. But yeah, the way he asked me the question was hilarious.
But did he buy
That's
the
how.
land?
No, he did not. I hope so. He'll buy something. So, but
Actually,
at least I bought his attention to Web3.
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
like
one of the things that I generally tell people is towards getting the knowledge first before you put money in. It's like talk to the people, talk to the founders, see what they are publishing, see if you can get into AMAs, ask some questions. And there are actually good projects out there. Okay, but like any real world, there are actually fake products and projects out there as well. Okay, it's a very real thing. Most of us have at least seen some of the other projects who are like this, they're just scamming people out of money. Okay, that's like,
Mhm.
again, till the time we get regulations, it's going to be there. There's no way out. Okay. So,
Yeah. So, but one thing is there, like, even if we are talking about the auditing and stuff, right? But uh, even if some product has done some auditing from a good, let's say they have done from Certicate or Hellborn, and there are a lot of good audit firms as well, right? But even if after that, people are just posting, the product owners are just posting their audit report, right? But that audit report is not verifiable, right? If there is a way that we can create some audit reports that is verifiable by general users, right? Even if we are seeing some audit reports, we should be pretty much confirmed, like, hey, there can be some mechanisms, right, that can actually verify this audit report belongs to the smart contract, right? This actually happens that founders or companies deploying different contract and pushing different contract audit report. This can totally happen, but yeah, I feel there is a huge way to go in terms of auditing as well, right?
All the
And
auditing
obviously,
agencies, all the agencies must be looking at this podcast and keeping their ears on. We are pitching the ideas. Yeah, as Shashank was saying, he was building something, an AI assisted smart contract, right? So my point was, like, even today Android or even Apple, one of the biggest tech companies, they have not achieved the perfection level in their own operating system. There are still the vulnerabilities. Even now and then, there are always the news that security vulnerabilities are always there. I feel that even the security vulnerability will always be there on the smart contract side as well, as long as we are on a public smart contract. So, sorry, public blockchain. But I feel if we had some regulatory body that does regular time to time security audits, and the security audit levels as well kind of also increased from time to time, that obviously right now if we are testing, let's say for some security patch, uh, then also we can from time to time upgrade our security features as well, that's the testing features, the vulnerabilities that we are looking out for, so that beforehand we can also test, upgrade the smart contracts as well, you know. So this thing, I would love to see a regulatory body, a regular auditing happening, because nowadays what happens, we look out for cheapest security out there, security audit out there. We get a report, we post it to the user that we are audited. Ultimately what happens, the story continues.
Yeah. So Aditya was mentioning that we need like good security over smart contract. So like what we are building is like AI tool which helps in rewriting the whole smart contract and giving the rating whether the contract will be hacked or not, and recommendation, and rewriting the whole contract. And I'm also like that MVP is like I have published on like LinkedIn as well. But I was thinking about like real time security contract moderation, every smart contract is in real time, it's moderated, so we can know if someone is trying to hack or not. So it's like real time security for a smart contract. And with
Mhm.
GPT-3, like I have been able to build the a version where you put a smart contract, it gives some recommendation, and if you click again, you get the new smart contract with the updated version. So yeah, so this is a big problem. I have been in like AMAs, and I've been seeing people like crying that they are not able to find good engineers, like good smart content engineers, because the cost is way higher for a startup to hire a security audit or senior security auditor, and they are doing on their own. So every time, because and if they are taking a help from agency, so agencies also hire cheap engineer, so they hire not that great engineer, because they need to make money, so they pay less and they cut the margin. So that's why the security is not that better. But with AI, with GPT, and even if GPT-4 is coming, so it will give like 50-page long like response. So writing the whole smart contract with like lesser vulnerabilities is like possible with GPT-4. So I've seen like a marketplace is like 2 to 4 page contract, and if the Defi is like a 50 to 100 page contract, not more than that. So it's like we with AI we can like solve this problem, the security problem, and we are like we are trying to solve it with the AI itself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So obviously, let's we that's really nice to see like the you are taking auditing to the new level with the AI tools, right? Uh, when
Yeah.
exactly is it releasing? Like you have
Uh,
things where we can
yeah,
try it
yeah.
out?
Yeah. Like I have links, you can try it out. Like I can send you link. Currently I don't have like backend ready, so everything is in front end and API calls and all. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't really save the history, but you can like try it out. Put a smart contract and generate report, then fix the smart contract. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I will like send the video like links, and you can like literally try it out.
Awesome.
So it's like
Awesome.
it's like I actually
I was getting like referral from auditing agency, Quill Audit. So it's in India. So they were earlier paying. So I should not charge talk about pay, but they were paying good amount. But I didn't apply. Then after that, they started paying double amount. So for the same thing. So actually I through one of the founder, I exactly remember. I exactly don't remember who it was, but she was saying that she is facing a lot of issue while recruiting for this senior smart contract auditor, and like GPT is like a PhD holder. So it's like a senior. Like when I was working as a senior software engineer, I had to create a Lambda function. What I did was I just told the GPT, use this particular technology, use this library, and create this Lambda function which calls this API, get this and this and that, and it literally created in 5 minutes. And I like post just uh, copy and pasted the code on Lambda, and it like works fine. Like I didn't code like I didn't even change a single line. So if you know how to talk to GPT, so it's like sometimes GPT is like giving response in like GPT is saying, hey, I can't like give this much length in single response. So you should just say give response in chunks. So if GPT starts giving chunks, so it really is like so powerful that literally we can like eliminate the security issue from the smart contract if we really fine tune the API. And with GPT-4, like it can literally write the whole smart contract. It's like without any vulnerability or security that is known, because that's how the model is trained. Yeah, but the unknown is the unknown yet to find. Actually,
So
earlier we were building moderation, content moderation thing, where like you put a image and you get the rating, how it is, like nudity, gore, and all. But later I thought to like secure the whole Web3 plus Web2. So earlier it was we were doing for like NFT marketplace, where they can use our APIs to like moderate the content, and they can choose like from categories and subcategories which type of moderation they want. And but later like I thought to like create more features in security infrastructure side in Web3 with AI, because I think AI acts everything will be the future, because we can't kill the AI, because we have invented it. It's our child, and we we will like we will it is right now helping me to 10x the productivity, but I think it will help in 1000x, like coming after like not more than 2 to 3 years, developer would be able to get the productivity of 1000x. It's like I have been able to get 100x. So I've been able to create the whole product backend in like one day. So it's like so powerful if you know how to talk to it. So if you say like use GraphQL, use Node, use React, and use these libraries. So if you say to GPT use these libraries, you know the library name, and you say like use OpenJPlin and use this and that. It literally uses that library and writes a correct code. So, so it's like so awesome. Like I've been trying to build. So we have come to a conclusion that we are trying to build now a Spark engine, where you can like literally tell what you want to be built, and it will build. Because GPT-4 has launched, and it has that capability, like 50 pages of code. If you use like really good framework, so there are frameworks that forces you to write less number of lines. So if you use that kind of framework, your code is very concise. And like just like GraphQL is like if you use REST, you have a lot of code. If you use GraphQL, you have only a callback function in backend running. So it's like if you use very latest tools and technology, you will be able to create an MVP in 3 minutes. So we are trying to do this now with like everything. So yeah, it's like I'm thinking of it, and we are like somewhere near it, because now you can like select, and we are also trying to make the engine itself, like you can have a security mode where you can audit things. You can even the backend gets hacked. So you can have the security mode, you can have the production mode where you can create. So that's kind of like a lot of vision is going on, but haven't reached anywhere. But yeah, a small MVP is ready for security audit.
That's really nice. And not just about the development, right? It's on the marketing end also, GPT has done a great job in exploring new spaces, right? What we haven't thought of. So I feel
Yeah.
Himanshu have used it a lot. So what's your experience in it?
Yeah, I mean, this I don't think this was the direction we were going to, but because we are here, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's very funny because I was reading on some website. They are selling certificates for prompt engineers. So now there is a term that that people have coined, prompt engineer. All they do is they know how to talk to Chat GPT. That's literally what they
Oh.
do, and then GPT gives all the answers. I mean, in marketing, it's mind blowing. Seriously, from product validation to creating your buyer persona. By the way, I have an entire training on my website about how you can create a buyer persona, uh, like how to actually find out what your customer is thinking, and what are their deep desires and what are their deep fears. Because when you tap into that, it's way easier to create a better product. What they are trying to achieve, if you can understand your customers, then GPT does it so well. Like, it saves a lot of time in research. But again, at the same time, this is gonna speed up the process, but uh, it's not gonna change the fact that you need to know the basics. For example,
Yeah.
you can this is literally what was my experience. So I asked GPT to create uh, customer persona for just literally I wrote, write create a buyer persona for, let's say, a perfume uh, for Indian users, for example. This is the query. Then it gave me some answer, but that was not enough. But when you know what you are doing, as Shashank was mentioning, then you can go a really specific. Then you use the models from psychology aspect, then you use the models from product development aspect, and then it can really blow your mind with the capabilities. Because that would have taken 2-3 days of research, going to all different places and finding out like what your customers are uh, facing challenges with, and going to all these YouTube videos and all bunch of research. Now you have all these script data combined at one place, and you can really make use of it. But again, you need to know what you are doing. That
Yeah,
part is not gonna
Yeah.
go away.
yeah. I was
I
Right?
think
thinking
that's
that like junior developers' job are at risk, but those who are senior, like their job are not at risk. So that's what I was thinking as well. Because GPT is like just our brain, so it also needs to know what data points it needs to connect. So just
Okay,
like we talk.
so let's come to the last topic, right? I just wanted to discuss, and it just got into my mind, like about the future of the Web3 ecosystem and how it's evolving, right? So, Pranav, you have mentioned that you have skipped one thing about the UX, right? User experience and the usability of the future products of the Web3 ecosystem. So, what's your
Just
catch
three
on
things.
the new concepts that are coming in, right? Like
Yeah.
let's say if I coin some topics, like there are account abstractions that are coming in, right? Even if it was there, let's say Bikonomy did that earlier ago, right? And new concepts are coming in. So, what's your thought on the usability and user experience that's coming in the ecosystem?
I would say it's getting better. Okay. I mean, I come from a phase where I have literally written Bitcoin source scripts by hand, like literally putting bytes together, because the only thing you
Mhm.
have is a Bitcoin white paper, and there is no library out there to do what you need to. Okay. So you
Mhm.
technically create the library by yourself in terms of writing functions. But looking back at that phase to what we are doing today, as in, we have so much stuff available. And yes, Shashank is correct to use ChatGPT at a lot of places. Again, this can never replace the core fundamentals of what people know. ChatGPT is definitely a very good tool. Okay. But I think coming back to UX, that is something that cannot be fixed with codes. Because I think this connects to something that, Himanshu mentioned earlier in terms of, psychology of how humans are perceived and how we view products to be used. And if we use that as a base and continue on that, I think UX perspective still has ways to go. Even though if we get regulations, even though we build good products which are technically feasible, it will not really be there in terms of UX. Okay. It's like UX needs to take its own sweet time in terms of people trying tens of different things. Out of the 10, one will work. From that, again, the same iteration, like how everything learns, it's going to be a little bit of a tedious process, but everything can be fast tracked with when things are done in a wider variety. I think this goes towards like books like The Selfish Gene, where we understand that there are mutations where people try different stuff. Okay, and sometimes those stuff come out amazing, which in future becomes a de facto standard. Okay, or if it is not good enough, people will always keep experimenting. This is again the job of researchers and entrepreneurs to kind of keep building the newer stuff. And obviously, there's no like the right answer to this. But I think we already, as you mentioned about Frontier and the others, they definitely do possess good UX. Okay, but that UX is not to a level where somebody like my mom can, come in and use that wallet in one go. We still need to move UX, but definitely people who at
But
least have basic knowledge can do something on that. Yes.
yeah,
Sorry, please
but it's
continue.
closer, like it's closer to that vision, like the account
Definitely.
abstraction and this
Correct,
new
correct.
announcement of this
4337. Yeah.
new standards are like after reading it, I saw a real future for Web3. Like the journey will be smoother now. Yeah, for and the scalability. So many people don't focus on Cardano. So what the like Hydra, once the Hydra is implemented, and if people started using Cardano, so it is very powerful. So the guy who wrote the Ethereum white paper, he started it, and I exactly don't remember. But the transaction amount per second once the Hydra is implemented will be 10 times, around 10 million, if I don't remember. But it was like more than the Visa current transaction limit. Uh, so it's like future. And many people think, I earlier also, like on my LinkedIn 1 year ago, I said like posted like Polygon will be the future and everyone will be using it. It will be AWS. But I really now, after like 5 years and seeing a lot of internet computer and this and that, I'm seeing a lot of innovation, and like I think like Cardano, if right now, like recent news I read, like Cardano is like really doing well in terms of like their investors and transactions, and the dApps that are being built, and there are like blockchain and like for the UX, I am seeing there is a lot of companies doing a lot of similar things like in Web2. So there are companies who have particular cookies and auth. So the infrastructure is getting bigger and bigger, but within 10 years, the experience will be more like to a Web2 user of like it will be like a Web2 only. So like in coming years.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. And obviously, from the user experience point of view, I would say one thing, like the initial users that got onboarded with the dApps, right? They have experience taking and farming. They have used compound array. Just the main value proposition for them was to, hey, why don't I just go in that platform and make some money, right? So, but this comes with the cost, right? The knowledge is involved, right? The user experience is not that great that made everyone to go into that platform and make money, right? So that's one thing. Like let's say Olympus DAO and a lot of protocols have come, right? But only top of the funnel people who know about it or made money, they interacted with those, and they are now the users, right? but I feel getting the user experience better will drive in more customers, right? The more users. And I feel that's where the thing is going right now. And that's a very good sign for the future of Web3.
There is one more thing I would like to add. I think I really believe it. And in fact, I work with incentivization, building communities, and psychology of creating tribes. So what I have seen is, I think incentivization, what it does is, it even if there is a high um, entry barrier for something, what incentivization does is it increases motivation, right? If you look at the behavioral model, uh, like one of the popular ones is from BJ Fogg, for example. So what he says is, if you want someone to take action, we need to combine their ability to take action and their motivation, right? So ability and motivation both are important. Same in UX, like it's same thing. What we are trying to do in UX is we try to make things simple. For example, infinite scroll, or if you want people to stay hooked to our product or whatever it is, what we try to do is we try to increase their motivation, or we try to increase their ability to do it, right? So if you are only using one thumb for scrolling, then it's the easy it's like their ability is now so much higher, right? Because it's easier for them to keep getting hooked to this particular product. So I think like coming back to the community side, and what Dibyo you were mentioning is, I think uh, what has happened with crypto and for every new technology is, we knew, like everybody who entered somewhere, we knew we are going to make money out of this. And I mean, this is like,
And
seriously,
loss
if we are
and
honest,
loss.
that's what we start with. Why people even want to be Web3 developers? Because they see a good career, the career in this game. They see there is a future. So incentivization, it might not be monetary, but again, there is an
Yeah,
incentivization, there
true,
is a future
true.
cause that we believe in, and that's why we get involved.
Yeah,
And then we enter into it, and then we are exploring this whole rabbit hole. But I think this incentivization, and in fact, I mean, of course, that's a uncensored thing, but uh, a lot of technology innovation has happened because of adult industries websites,
yeah,
like Preview,
yeah,
for
true.
example, right? A lot of people who go back and look for all these things, they know it. Like I think that's exactly what happens. You incentivization brings people uh, to a new ecosystem, and
Yeah,
this is what has
just
happened. But
like
now, to stay in this, we need to grow from this to everything. Of course, we have discussed like a lot of amazing things here.
The
Someone
biggest perk that I see is that now my dad and my uncle won't ask me to buy bitcoins for them because they don't understand what is transaction signing. So that's the biggest perk. So an
so.
average Joe can easily get onboarded on this ecosystem, and that's the best news that we can hope for the future of the adoption of this blockchain industry.
yeah.
Like I think in future, average user who are like technical will be able to use Web3 and get a lot of benefit. And those people who are not technical, there will be a SaaS company who will be making them like use the product without understanding the layered blockchain, and they will be able to use it just like a normal web they are using it. And on their behalf there will be a smart contract which will be doing, and a wallet will be a smart contract itself, just like we can create it. And it will give an experience of web 2 for them. And but really, if people are trying to invest it without understanding, they don't invest. So it's like investment is a very different thing. And just like you said, I was listening, you said like one the investor told me why we need to buy the land. So he is not understanding that maybe a Nike will buy land beside me, and in future Nike will want to buy my land, so that Nike can expand, or maybe my building will be next to Nike, or see, this is the kind of thing they need to think, but they can't think because they haven't read that much. So it's like, yeah, because for a technical user, so my mom used to say I would be not able to use a smartphone. So I said, why? She said, no, I can't use it. I don't know how to use it. So I said, I will make sure that you know how to use it. Then you will use it. So I made sure she knows how to use it, and now she uses it. She can like put a conference call me, video call on WhatsApp. She can do everything. So it's like, just like I started into Binance and doing like trading. So I took a lot of short videos. So on Binance there are short videos. So I took short videos. I did spot trading. I made a lot of money as well. Like I did like 300x, 400x, but lost everything. And then I stopped doing it. But I learned like future trading, leverage trading, spot trading. So it's like, those who are really willing, they have desire to understand, they will understand, and those who are not willing, they don't have desire, so they will not understand anyway. So it's like, yeah, that's what I think.
So yeah, I feel uh, uh, we are pretty much done, and we have crossed the time limit also. So anyways, everyone, like let's starting from Pranav. You have any closing thoughts?
No, I think this podcast sounds amazing. Okay, I definitely we are at episode 1, so thank you so much for everyone for contributing. I definitely learned
Yeah.
some new things from Himanshu, Aditya, and Shashank. So yeah, let's see if we can all come together. This is definitely going to be the episode 1, but I'm hoping a lot more episodes are there. And thank you, Dibyo,
Yeah.
for inviting me in, and thank you, Adat, for joining us here.
Yeah, amazing, Pranav. Definitely, I learn a lot, and amazing. Like, it was nice to meet people who have been in this game from long time. So definitely, there is always a pearl of wisdom in in experience and listening from
Exactly.
anyone who has a skin in the game. So yeah, thank you so much, Dibyo, for organizing this.
Thank
Thanks a
you
lot,
guys,
guys.
everyone.
Thank
And
you.
also Shashank, I would love to try out that chat
Oh yeah,
feature. Yeah. So
Yeah,
auditing, if it is
Yeah.
automated, we would love to try it out. We have some smart contracts coming out, but I
yeah.
hope it's cheaper than the
No,
average founder wants.
there can be a
so
whole discussion
it's
around
like
smart
it's
contract
like
auditing,
free right
honestly.
now. So it's like free right now. So everyone whoever is
It is
trying to
like
use
that.
it, yeah, I'm like free for now. So you can like literally, I'm trying to get as much as feedback as possible. So I'll like send you if like I'm trying to see how much it is like really capable. So uh, thanks for asking. I'll share in the Telegram channel the link itself, like to try it out.
Mhm.
So yeah, like if for each account it's like 20 requests right now, free. So yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys, for being here. Pranav,
Thanks, guys.
Shashank,
Yeah,
Himanshu, Aditya,
yeah.
everyone. So